What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Smoking Weed and Talking Mixed Martial Arts. This is episode number 34. My name is Jarrod. I'm here with my friend Paul.
What's up?
And today's we are going to be talking all about Bellator number 220, UFC Fort Lauderdale. We're going to take a look at the Canelo versus Jacobs boxing match coming up, as well as the recently announced Spence versus Porter. And we're going to do all of that while we are smoking on some weed.
Smoke weed every day.
Today, our weed of the week is some strawberry cough, which has Paul coughing in the background right over there.
Fuck.
I like strawberry cough, dude. It's got some unknown genetics, but this is sativa.
We got a shit ton of keef on top of that bowl as well.
There is. I was just looking at it. It's just smoking off. You can see it burning on this giant.
Get that shit.
What is this like? This is brand new, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got a problem. Nah, I'm just kidding.
What's your problem?
I have so many bongs. Don't know what to do with them.
That's a stoner problem right there. Yep. Strawberry cough has me coughing too. Like a lot of people say this weed is good for anxiety. I don't know. I've never tried it in that regard. I don't have a lot of anxiety. But I can tell you it's pretty stony. And that's all we care about. You know what's up with this weed, though? You know what I like about this weed right here?
What up?
Some fucking street weed. Seriously. Street weed is still alive and well in Las Vegas. And the cool thing is it's half-assed legal, too. It's not exactly legal, but it's legal to gift.
Weed.
Yeah, you can gift people marijuana here. Like, I can come to you and give you a gift of this quarter of weed, and later on, if you feel like gifting me some cash, well, maybe you do.
Maybe.
No. It's cool. Street weed still runs about the same prices as it did before, but sometimes it's just easier than going to the dispensary.
And you don't get taxed.
And a lot of times we get that good bud from Cali.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, we can't get that in the dispensaries because of stupid state laws.
Yeah.
So any Cali weed you want to smoke out here, you got to resort yourself to some street weed.
Yo.
Strawberry cough for sure.
Weed's
goddamn.
weed at the end of the day.
Yep.
Just
That's good. I like it. It's stony.
Yep.
Well, dude, let's dive into this Bellator thing. I want to ask you right away. Like, right away, Paul, I want to ask you what you think of Rory MacDonald's post-fight speech. Like, and if people, let me give them a little background. If they haven't heard, Rory had a draw, right? It was a majority draw against John Fitch for the welterweight title. And afterwards, he said some interesting things about not being able to pull the trigger, doesn't know if he has what it takes to hurt people anymore, and that God is speaking to him inside the cage and telling him maybe he needs to do something else.
Yeah.
What the fuck you think of that?
It's unfortunate. It's a waste. I mean, he's a talented guy. He's probably one of the best fighters in the world on any given day. But I don't know. Maybe it's his time to walk away. And his next fight, maybe he loses and walks away because he's fighting a real tough kid, and Neiman Gracie, and he's a rising star. So it wouldn't be terrible for him to drop it to Gracie and then him to carry the torch to the finals. You know what I'm saying? That would build the story. I mean, if Rory MacDonald's walking away, you can't can't really hate on a guy.
No, you can't hate on a guy
for not having it anymore and walking away, you know.
It's just surprising.
100% surprising, yeah.
Usually we can see this coming a little bit because the guy's getting older. He's like,
I don't know, after that loss to Gegard Mousasi as well, though, maybe he took a little time and took a step back and realized how many times he's had no surgeries, how many wars he's been in. Rory MacDonald's literally been in the biggest war I've ever seen.
Yeah. Robbie Lawler.
And then he had another war with freaking his first Bellator title fight.
Koreshkov?
No.
Douglas Lima.
Douglas Lima gave him hell.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, right after that, he gets fucking smashed by Gegard Mousasi. So it's like, how many more wars does he have in him?
I hope it's that reason. I'm not going to knock anybody for whatever religious beliefs they want to have, but I hate to see somebody give up fighting because of religion only to maybe regret that later in life, because he's talking a lot about feeling like God doesn't want him doing that type of thing, which is fine. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I'd rather you retired because you were tired of taking beatings and concerned about your safety, because then you don't have any regrets later. Like,
Well,
maybe I
maybe
shouldn't have done that.
he is saying that, but he just doesn't have it in him to really put it there yet.
Yeah, it's hard to say what's really going on. That just caught me out of left fucking field.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
What a
he's
performance
done.
by fucking John Fitch, though.
John Fitch needs to not retire. He was talking about retiring if he lost, but then he didn't lose,
Yeah.
and he put on a. I mean,
See, in a
he gets
situation,
screwed here too. Like Rory gets to go on. It's a weird thing.
yeah. What if it was like overtime round?
Yeah, I would have thought they would have had something like that. Like, remember when the UFC did that little mini tournament for the flyweight belt? They had an overtime thing.
Did they?
Yeah, where if it was a draw, they'd go an extra round.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've always seen it just in the Ultimate Fighter.
or maybe I'm just super high.
Are you sure?
Y'all can let me know in the comments if you're watching on a platform or listening that has comments.
I've seen that in the Ultimate Fighter, but not like in a sanctioned fight. No.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Well, either way, fucking, they should figure something out so that doesn't happen again when they have these
It's
tournaments.
unfortunate, but I
Whatever.
still think John Fitch's stock goes up. I mean, it's gonna take him some time before he can legitimately get a title shot now. But maybe fighting somebody like Ed Ruth with a similar style with the wrestling, or
Do you
I
think
don't
he
know,
does
Ed
that,
Ruth
or
would
do you
get
think he
fucked
holds
up.
out and wants to fight the winner of the tournament?
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm just trying to think who else is out of the tournament as of right now. Maybe fight Andre Korshkov. I wouldn't be terrible for John Fitch, and then fight for the belt after that. Wouldn't be terrible.
Wouldn't be terrible. Puts his title shot at risk because I think he would get an automatic title shot. I mean, you just had a draw.
Well, and also, you know what I hate about this? I like I said, I can't knock a guy for wanting to retire, but Rory MacDonald is leaving this division when it is having it's evolving at such a high level. When you have guys like Lima, MVP, Korshkov, this tournament. Look at the guys in this tournament alone. Like Ed Ruth, fucking obviously Paul Daly's been there forever. You know, fucking Neiman Gracie's an up and coming guy. John
MVP.
Fitch has been there everywhere forever. Roy's been there forever. Like this was like a fucking stacked tournament going in, and it's kind of I feel like it's sort of let us all down. The fights haven't been great. Like that Douglas Lima Korshkov fight, like we talked about before, it was a set game plan that Lima went out there and had to execute to win that fight.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the most entertaining fight, but it was solid. And then, of course, the MVP Daly fight was not really.
That was, who would have predicted that?
Yeah, that was a strange one.
Fest of
And
Paul
then
Daly trying to wrestle.
this fight, of course, ends in a draw, and not a very interesting one. So it's
Then the champ comes out and says he doesn't think he wants to hurt anybody anymore, which is not.
yeah.
I don't care
It's
what
not
Bellator
picking up
says
much
publicly.
steam.
They don't want to hear that. Just, from their perspective.
But you know who they want to hear about? It's fucking Alimale McFarlane. She is a fucking star, dude.
Well,
She
that's
is
the
a star now.
125-pound women's champ in Bellator.
Yeah,
she
she
defended
is a beast.
on that same card, and wow.
We were just watching
round,
it before we started.
Third round doctor stoppage. She was in
That
ground and
elbow was
pound
fucking
and dropped
gross.
an elbow on that girl's head and opened up.
The worst part is when they show like when
3-inch
they
gash.
wipe her face off and you just see the gash on her forehead. You're like, oh god.
Yeah, that was a good 3 inches long and
Yeah,
probably
that shit
a
is
half
rough.
inch wide when it was just sitting there. I mean, enough
Fuck
where
yeah.
you couldn't see. I mean,
No, dude, she was fucked. Dude, she literally, we were talking about she had cornrows, and you like when she was on her back, you could see the blood going through her cornrows and onto the mat. It was
yeah, it was like making its way through a maze. It was
yeah,
crazy.
it was fucking intense.
Man, that was.
But they have a legit star.
Yeah, she's pretty fierce. I'd love to see her in the UFC.
I would too. I'd love to see her versus Valentina Shevchenko, but you can't knock her. She probably makes a lot more money in Bellator than she would in the UFC, and she's still right up there.
She's 29 years old.
11-0.
11-0 or 10-0, maybe 11-0
Something like that.
after last night. Yeah, and she's got
And she's got
like an 80% finish
rate.
rate.
She's
Like
training
8K.
under Eddie Bravo, so
Yeah,
you know she's
10th planet.
legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Seems like they got a star there. She just did
Hell yeah.
that show in Hawaii too. Where I heard that was a pretty popular show over
Yep.
there.
that was
So,
huge.
yeah.
Because remember, no one. That was when the UFC was trying to get over there, and Bellator got it first.
Did it good.
Yeah.
So it would seem. So yeah, that was something. She's great. What about Phil Davis knocking out Liam McGeary in the light heavyweight?
Breaking his
10-year
jaw,
match
dude.
there and breaking that jaw.
I just don't know if Phil Davis gets a Ryan Bader fight anytime soon, though.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
that was
That was a good performance.
I like when Phil Davis can use his fists. He's got some power, and he showed it off with that. You know, everybody,
Yeah.
no one's surprised to see wrestling out of Phil, but seeing him go out there and break.
What do you
some
think's
jaw-
next for him? You think how many wins do you think he has to put together to get to that belt?
A few. So maybe if maybe the winner, maybe if Machida comes out and smokes Chael, we see Phil Davis versus Machida.
Fucking Machida's talking about he wants a title shot if he beats Chael.
Well, and Chael could easily win that fight too. I don't know if Chael would fight Davis for any reason.
No, he wouldn't fight
I mean,
Davis.
that's not.
There's
I
just
don't think
no.
there's any purpose in
Yeah,
that. I mean,
he'd be putting himself over. He doesn't do that shit.
yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to discount his chances against Machida, but I could see maybe that matchup.
I could see him beating Machida honestly with his ground and pound.
Chael?
It's gonna matter
Yeah,
what
me too.
it's all gonna depend on what happens on the feet.
Yeah.
If Chael can keep close and not allow him to get those kicks off, and work the clinch, work his takedowns, I think he probably could beat Machida.
Dude, and speaking of Chael, I mean, I can't help but think of Tito Ortiz. Did you hear the news about him? We don't have to talk about it much, but he signed with Combate Americas.
Where's that?
It's like some South American or Brazilian promotion, like
What?
low level.
What?
Like, yeah.
Fight?
Yeah. Like
That's
he
weird.
left Bellator and signed
That's strange.
with like a much, in comparison to Bellator, at least in this part of the country. It's bizarre.
Tito
Like, he keeps
Ortiz-
retiring.
Tito Ortiz just burns every bridge.
He does.
Did it to the UFC, he's done it to Bellator.
That's the only reason I could think of he did it, because he burned a bridge. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way they can pay him Bellator money.
Nah.
And whatever sponsorships he gets, I can't imagine they'd be that large. So, yeah. But
That's
thinking of
strange.
Chael made me think of him just because they were talking about running that back again. But then now Tito's out of Bellator.
Yeah, he's out of Bellator, so whatever.
Other than those two for Davis, though, I'm really not sure. Because I don't think he gets that Bader fight again. Unless Bader decides to stay at heavyweight, then...
Yeah, I
this could
think
be
the fight
interesting.
for Bader at heavyweight would be Josh Barnett.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Well, isn't he fighting Chicago next? So, I think he gets through that pretty quick. I don't think Czech's got much for him. But
No.
so I think he gets out of there with the win. And I could see him fighting Josh Barnett for sure. There'd be a serious size advantage for Barnett in that fight too.
I would like Barnett in that fight. Barnett's underrated still, I think. I think he's got a lot left in the tank.
Barnett's he's good, but I don't know. It's going to come down to the grappling exchanges because naturally Bader's going to want to take him down, but you got to watch out with fucking Josh Barnett because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he will fucking catch your
Dude, he
ass.
submitted fucking Dean Lister in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, like, recently.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that dude's no motherfucking joke.
He does a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Yeah.
He was going to, wasn't he going to face, what's his name?
Verdum.
Yeah, we're doing, yeah.
And, but that all fell apart with injuries
Yeah.
and stuff on that card.
Yep.
That Bravo card. But, yeah. That's some fucking... I like that. That's good shit.
Yeah.
Well, how about we bounce over to that UFC Fort Lauderdale, where we had Jacare Souza versus Jack Hermannson, late notice replacement, just
Yep.
fought
Just had fought David
4 weeks
Branch.
ago, submitted David Branch like
In the
it
first
was
round.
nothing,
Yeah.
like Branch was a rookie, which he's
Dude,
not.
that kid is gas tank
Then he comes out here and just puts a fucking ass whooping on Jacare Souza. Who
for
saw
5
that?
rounds.
But yeah,
He's a tough mofo.
really fucking impressive, man. That dude is legit.
He's got good
legit as
size
fuck.
too.
He
Like
does.
he's really solid sized middleweight.
And he's got a chin because he took
Oh,
a
yeah.
few blows. And Jacare, he's got power.
Oh yeah.
And his chin was tested, and he held up in that department.
What
He held up
sucks
in the
though
cardio.
is he's in a gridlock at the top at middleweight. There's gonna be like three. He has to fight probably 2-3 more times where he is even thinking about a title shot.
Yeah, he can't get his way into a title shot yet, I don't think either.
But those are two real good signature wins. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's legit.
He's got fucking volume too.
He has got a. I thought for certain because it was a short notice fight too, and I was like, okay, when it got to the third round and he won that, I was like, okay, like if this is a 3-rounder, he should have put that in his contract.
Yeah.
I'll do it for because it was 25-day notice.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure Salza was going to come knock him out in like the 4th or 5th round, only really due to just exhaustion, and instead he actually turned it up.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Dude is a tough motherfucker.
He sure is. I'm a fan now. I want to see his next fight, man. That was super impressive.
But like I said, who's where's he gonna go from here,
I
bro?
have no idea. They got to get this Whitaker thing. What we need to have is Whitaker. If he's going to beat Adesanya, he needs to come through and stay healthy. Otherwise, we're just going to get more logjam. Or if Adesanya wins, then
Adesanya fucking fought 6 times last year.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying.
he's down
he's
to be an
gonna take
active champion.
You don't think he's going to take a break too?
No.
I hope he doesn't. But
They
I
said
think we run that
they
risk.
said that fight's gonna happen in like August, September. So I see him fighting after that again in probably December, January.
I think he's going to beat Whitaker.
I think he is too.
I don't really think Jack Hermannson has much for Israel Adesanya at this point.
No.
So he should definitely take another fight.
Maybe.
I don't think holding out for a proposed title shot is going to amount to shit.
I mean, still he did just beat the shit out of the #1 contender.
This is true.
You
And
know
what about Jacare now? Like that was his.
He said he's gonna possibly retire if he
that was his
lost
last
this
shot at
fight,
the
dude.
title.
Yeah, he said if he lost his fight that he would contemplate retirement. And I think maybe it could be time, but I don't know because he's had some great fights with some high level guys.
He is 40 years old,
Yeah.
which outside of the heavyweight division is
It's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah. I don't know though, because he has that jiu-jitsu style where he doesn't need to take as many strikes as he does, man. I don't know why he does that. Because he could probably sub everybody in the middleweight division. But,
Yeah, he probably could.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna move past that. We're gonna skip right over that bullshit co-main event.
Oh, speaking of middleweights as well. Your boy Pablo Costa got fucking...
My boy. Yeah.
Paulo Costa, Pablo.
Paulo Costa and his
Yeah.
brother both busted for the IV. That dude's never gonna make middleweight.
Is that what it was from?
Yeah.
During a fight? I thought it was out of competition.
It was IV usage. Him and his brother both.
Damn.
So he's gonna have a rough time making
6
weight.
months?
6 months.
Is it
Retroactive.
retroactive. So you could probably fight. I think it's like 2 months or something like that from
Yeah.
now. Yoel called it too. And then he denied it though. That's the worst part. He's like, no, I don't know what he's
It was
talking
stomach
about.
medication or some shit.
Did he?
Yeah, he was saying it was for some stomach medication he took, but then U.S.A.T came out. It was fucking IV use. So, well, skipping back to UFC Fort Lauderdale, skipping the fucking co-main event. How about Mike Perry versus
Yeah.
Cowboy Oliveira?
I was a fucking
had-
scrap, dude.
How entertaining was that? I mean, Mike Perry can pretty much be counted on now for just an entertaining fight. Period.
Yep.
Win or lose. He's
You
turning
think
into
that
one of
got
these
him back in
guys.
the top 15?
I think it did too, because Cowboy Oliveira, despite coming in there unranked, is no joke.
Yeah.
And I especially liked that we really got 2 competitions last night. We got some fighting, and then we had a dance off beforehand. Cowboy came out
That shit was
dancing.
funny.
Mike Perry was like, "Oh, I'll dance.
I'll dance, motherfucker.
I'll dance, motherfucker," and I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
So
That shit was funny.
that shit was funny. And man, Perry with some slams in there. Perry with some,
Perry looked good. He looks like
patience.
he looks like he's been working on his shit, man. It looks like he's evolving. People
he
need
got
to realize.
rushed into things.
Well,
man.
people need to realize he's still young in the game.
Yeah, he's young in the game.
He started fighting professionally only like 4 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, he got a little bit. He got a little bit rushed. I mean, he should have had more
Yeah.
developmental time, really, before getting
100%.
into the big show. But he's weathered the storm now.
100%.
I think he's turned a
And he's
corner
had some
here with
big
this
fights
fight.
on his way. You know, he's had some he's had some serious losses, but he's also had some real big wins. You know,
And at this point, he's earned himself a reputation that people are going to tune in now. Like he's becoming must-watch fights if you know what's
and let's
up.
be honest, if you're gonna lose, it's best to lose early in your career
Yeah, 100%.
because it's easier to get back to the show. But when you're 33, 34, and you're losing 4 in a row, you're getting cut, and then you got to win like 6 or 7 in a row to get the call back to the UFC.
This was an important win for him because he'd had a bit of a streak.
100%.
Then it shifted his fortunes. Now he's won 2 out of his last 3 instead of,
Yep.
lost 3 of his last 4 or whatever it was. It's shifting his momentum good. And like I said, Cowboy's no joke. He's a big old dude.
Yep.
Hits hard.
I could see like a Leon Edwards fight for him next.
So that's a good fight. That's what they should do. Because if he beats Leon Edwards convincingly, then he's right. He's right up in there now.
Yeah. Mike Perry is funny as fuck. He's just funny.
He is funny.
Another thing is another middleweight that could be there is Darren Till is probably going to be middleweight coming up here pretty soon.
But see, that's who Perry was calling for a fight with. He
That's
said
what
he
I
wants
was.
to
Just, that's
fight Darren
pretty much
Till.
what I was saying.
But Till,
Might be out of. I don't think he's gonna be a welterweight in his next fight.
no, especially coming off this little bit of dust up he's had out there.
I'm telling you, man. When you cut so hard that you fucking going blind and shit, you don't have any oxygen going to your brain, dude. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, if you don't know what Paul's referring to, folks, a couple fights ago on camera, it was documented.
It was like
during his weight cut pre-fight.
It was supposed to be like for embedded, but they didn't want to release the footage. It was so bad.
he was cutting weight to such an extreme point. He literally went blind. Like he lost his fucking eyesight.
And he was like moaning on the ground. He was like,
that was frightening.
I was like, what the fuck, man?
As a human being watching other human beings suffer,
And he still missed weight by 7 pounds.
Yeah, after going blind, and he still remained a welterweight. That's.
But then again, he
crazy.
also said that he had some family issue that he
he had some
couldn't
shit.
cut
He had to go to
weight
the
or
hospital in the
something.
middle of the night with his girlfriend, something like that, and it fucked up his weight cut, and then he was struggling. Whatever
Whatever
the bottom line
it's
is,
like,
you lost your eyesight cutting weight,
that's intense.
and you shouldn't do that.
You should pretty much, yeah. You should.
I don't think any of us got to be a genius to come to that fucking conclusion.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not a fucking good plan.
Yeah, no.
So I hope you're right. I hope 185 is in his future. I hope that he could use that to shift this narrative because he stole a fucking cab, he trashed a hotel room,
Yeah, I
he got
heard about
arrested.
that.
He seems to have got off light because it was in Spain and they didn't want to make a big issue, so he got some kind of warning, which is crazy because you can't just
What?
commit Grand
He
Theft
didn't
Auto in
get
the
anything?
United States. That's like
Yeah.
prison time,
Holy
dog.
shit.
But fucking in Spain, I guess it ain't that big a deal. They let this motherfucker off.
Really?
And
I didn't know that. I thought he was in jail.
no,
They didn't do shit to him?
no,
What?
yeah,
Famous.
serious. So he gets
So
off.
famous in Europe
And
gets you.
fucking, he could shift it. He could come out now and be like, "I'm moving to 185," and then that'll just kind of shift the narrative off of that
Yeah.
bullshit and carry on.
Yep.
Which
But I
would be
do think
good.
he still needs to take some time off.
He needs to do something. And that weight cut is probably part of the reason he's getting knocked the fuck out too, despite what he
Yeah.
wants to say.
Yeah.
So-
There were some other good fights that night too, but nothing popping out. Except that Corey and
Corey, yeah, the Sandhagen versus John Lineker fight
John
was good.
Lineker, yeah.
Sandhagen's legit, man.
he's dope.
I didn't understand that fight. Like, I didn't understand the booing after that fight. I didn't think there was any controversy, and it certainly wasn't to the level of booing this kid. And
Yeah.
the time that they started booing him was when he said he was like trying to do good. Like it was weird. It was a weird situation.
That's
I
strange.
don't know, unless there just happened to be a lot of Brazilians in the crowd that night. I mean,
Could
there's a
be.
good Brazilian contingent in Fort Lauderdale. That could be a thing.
Yeah, it could be.
But otherwise, that kid, I mean, he's a good kid and he's a good fighter.
He's on his way up, man.
He's definitely on his way up. I didn't think there was any controversy in that decision at all. It was pretty clear to me.
Yep.
And he's legit too. A lot of interesting things going on down there.
And then Carla Esparza won her fight too.
Carla, the return
Was
to a wrestling
generally
base
yeah,
with that too.
literally it was, but it was good though because she was wrestling, basically wrestled a jujitsu
Yeah,
fighter,
yeah.
which is pretty tough to do.
No, that was good. I was glad to see Carla get the win there.
Yeah,
I don't know where she goes next from here, but a win is good.
keeps her back,
Damn, that
keeps
strawberry
her on.
cough is
Yeah,
fucking with my throat.
I feel you. So let's change things up a little bit here. Let's switch over to some boxing. Yeah.
Boxing, absolutely, man.
On the 4th, we got a Canelo fighting Danny Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs, man, what a story there.
Yeah.
What a tough
Jesus.
matchup for Canelo, too, honestly.
People don't know. Danny Jacobs, I think it was 2 or 3,
It was
maybe.
2012.
Yeah, 2012. It was a while ago,
Yeah.
but it feels like it was not that long ago.
No, because it's such
He
a crazy
was
story.
diagnosed with bone cancer and had to overcome bone cancer and retired for a minute, and then
Yeah, 18 months he's out, and the
Yeah.
guy beats bone cancer.
comes back and puts on a hell of a performance against Triple G. A lot of people think he won that fight. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence. I think it could have been either guy, but at the same time,
Yeah, there's
he's game
controversy,
is
though.
what I'm
There's
saying.
controversy because that's the fight that set up the Canelo Triple G
Canelo
fight,
Triple G
which
fight,
was a
yep.
massive money fight. Everybody, obviously. So there is controversy there, but he definitely did great against Triple G, losing or
Yeah.
not. And he's no joke. He can fucking punch.
Oh, dude.
He's 6 feet tall.
That's what
got a
that's
lot
what
of
I think the
power.
biggest thing is in this going into this fight is Canelo going to be able to use those same angles that he's able to use on guys his size when Jacobs is much bigger and he's fucking he'll put you on your ass real quick.
Yeah, he's got a lot of.
I mean, I know
punching power.
Canelo's got a great chin, but at the same time, as he's moving up in weight class and fighting these bigger guys, his chin is definitely going to be tested.
100%, and you can't. No one knows except a very very small amount of people what that does to you when you overcome a traumatic fucking disease like that. I mean, that is a fucking death sentence, man.
Yeah.
And when you overcome something like that, that puts your mental preparation on a different level, in my
Yeah,
belief. Like,
for sure.
Like fighting a man in a fucking cage
Just doesn't-
isn't quite the fucking thing it is for somebody else when you face down serious things like that.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody's scared. Like, everybody's scared to get in a fucking cage or a boxing ring or a wrestling, whatever the fuck it is. When you're entering unarmed combat with another human being, man or woman, it's a scary thing. And you get nerves and you get all this shit. But I think that changes dramatically when you overcome something like that, and I think that gives
Yeah.
fighters an edge.
Just make it seem like those aren't things can only get so bad, you know.
Right. It's kind of like
He's
the
faced
Tyson
everything-
Fury
yeah,
story in a way,
exactly.
but
But-
even greater because
yeah.
you're overcoming like serious death, not just depression and alcoholism and trying to kill yourself. You're like,
You're literally your body's killing you.
Yeah.
Like literally at this point.
so I just sometimes in these super high level fights it comes down to really small advantages, and I think that there's going to be a little bit of a mental advantage there and a little bit of like a confidence advantage. Not that Canelo's lacking fucking confidence, but just that little thing. Maybe I'm not describing right, but that little like thing that
Yeah.
that might swing this
That
in Danny
extra-
Jacobs' favor.
extra
that little
bit.
extra bit of
that
fucking
second gear, dude.
something, that he can, that little bit of reserves that he's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
from experience and shit that most people are never going to overcome.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I think Jacobs is going to win this fight in the upset. That's my prediction. I don't know if he's going to knock him out.
How's he gonna win?
I don't know if he's going to knock him out, but I think it could happen late rounds. But I think he's going to get the decision for sure. Like, that's.
I think it's gonna be a tough night for both guys. I think it's gonna be a super close fight, a lot closer than people think because after Triple G, everyone was kind of like, "Who's Canelo gonna fight next?" But dude, there's some serious contenders going.
There's a lot of things
right now,
going
like
on there. Yeah.
serious. You got Charlo also. I mean, he looked kind of rough in that last fight, but you can't blame him. It was obviously a emotional thing when his brother lost, and then he got in there and just looked terrible.
Yeah.
But he's another one of those guys who's up there. So there's people who are coming in to really test Canelo, and I think this is going to be one huge test for him. I don't know if he's going to get it done, but I'm leaning towards Canelo in a close decision. But I would not be surprised if Danny Jacobs gets it done either.
You know, we had another pretty big fight announcement in boxing
Yep.
this past week as well with what is it?
Earl
Spence
Spence.
Jr. versus Sean Porter.
Yep.
Getting some of those titles unified.
Yeah, fuck, man.
There's some people waiting in the wings.
That's
there,
always
too.
been my biggest thing with boxing. There's so many different promotional belts. There's 5 champions in this weight class right now. You got Spence, you got Crawford, you got Pacquiao, you got Porter, you got fucking and what's his name too? Thurman. It's like
Yeah.
Jesus.
This all over the place, man. And with all these different promoters, a lot of them they won't fight each other.
Yeah. Spence and Crawford needs to happen.
Yes.
This should have happened instead of this fight, but I'll take this one.
I'll take it too. I mean, that's a good fight.
It's just another
Sure.
name on the list that needs to get crossed off for Spence to really prove himself.
Honestly, that's what. Same thing.
I'm very happy it wasn't Pacquiao because I didn't want to see Pacquiao get brutalized by Spence.
Get fucking murked by Earl Spence. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that talk, and I'm glad
I was
wasn't too.
fuck, man, it's gonna be rough.
We don't need that.
It's a rough outing. Yeah, but
It's a rough
Porter's a
night for the
good one.
Pac-Man.
That's a good fight.
I like it.
I like Spence.
Me too. I think that motherfucker's
No
a
hate
real
on
deal.
Porter, but
Nope.
I just think it's Spence's time.
It's no disrespect. Earl Spence is a fucking. I think he's the man.
I think it's just his time, man.
Yeah.
He's when he's out there, it looks like he's learning at the same time. You know what I'm saying? He's so crisp with everything,
Yeah.
but you can see him making his game plan and executing it while he's in the ring. You know what I'm saying? You can see he
Very
does
high
throughout
fight
the fight.
IQ.
Yeah, throughout the fight, he does just the little things that you can see where you're like, oh, he's gonna throw a big punch here. You know what I'm saying? And whether they land or not, it's still he's landed most of them. You know, so
100%.
he's
That's
a
gonna
tough
be an exciting
motherfucker,
fight.
man.
It's going to be a great fight. And
Yeah.
again, I agree with you though. No disrespect to Porter at all, but Spence,
Spence is
yes.
he's coming. I think the biggest fight right now that needs to happen is Spence Crawford, man. It's literally that's the only fight we need to see. I mean, it's probably going to take some time, and it's going to take each one of them to probably gather up more of the belts so they can have a unified champion at that weight class. But I hope it happens at least by the end of 2020 would be my
I hope
hope.
so too.
That'd be my hope. But it's boxing, so we'll probably never actually see them fight ever. They're going to wait till Crawford gets old and Spence gets old, and then... Nah, I'm just kidding. That'd take forever.
Well, man, the next, swinging back out of boxing and probably wrapping things up after this would be the next UFC we got coming up is UFC Fight Night 151 on May 4th.
Yeah,
Which is Cowboy versus a Raging Al. Where
Same old Al.
you know that the winner here is going to clamor for a title shot.
Of course.
We
But
still got
none of them are going to get it.
we still got Tony Ferguson benched, according to Dana White. Its most recent comments after the Fort Lauderdale event.
Oh, what he said. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, well, Tony came out and said he's cleared. His wife dropped the restraining order.
Yeah.
And then Dana came out after UFC Fort Lauderdale and was like, no, I don't know anything about him being cleared on our end.
Oh, shit.
And we're not booking him in any fights.
Damn.
So I don't know what's up with that.
Well,
But
that's good and bad because that's good on the UFC for wanting the full thing to go down before they were to move forward. But this is let's see if they keep this up. You know what I'm saying?
and we've got the mystery of Conor McGregor's next fight.
Yeah.
Which the winner of this versus Conor might be interesting too, especially if it's Cowboy
Or Al too.
or Al. But I don't know if that's a big enough fight to get Conor out of his mostly retired. I don't think it would be personally.
I don't either, but I think stylistically I'd like to see it because they both fought Khabib.
Yes, for sure. There's a few other handful of good fights on there. I mean, we got Cub Swanson making a return against Shane Burgos.
Yeah, fuck that fight.
I like Cub. I like watching Cub. I hope he wins. If he doesn't win here, I mean,
Yeah.
he's really falling down in that
Yeah, it's gonna
gatekeeper
be
status.
rough.
We got not a whole lot actually else on that card.
Yeah, you got Macy Chase on.
Still down at 135. I'm bummed. I like Sarah Moras. I like her coming back. Like, that girl hasn't been able to get a fight in fucking so long. I
Really?
swear to God. Like, she fights like once a year, and I don't know why. 'Cause she's always on
weird.
Twitter complaining about not getting fights. But, I mean, she was on the Ultimate Fighter back when they made this division. Macy, of course, you know, we saw her debut and win that shit. And it's always kind of fun to watch her fight after that. But she's a lot bigger than Sarah. She really needs to be up at 145, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
she's making the cut.
Yeah, there's
so
really
fuck
not
it.
very many fights on there that are huge.
No. You know,
But I like the main event.
we did have one fight announcement over last weekend that I got pretty excited about right away, which is the return of Sean O'Malley.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, we got USADA publicly coming out with, yes,
It was him,
contaminated
Nico
supplement.
Montano, and who else? Who else was it?
He got a 6-month suspension,
Yeah.
and it's retroactive, so he can
Yeah,
fight.
so
And he
he's
signed up to fight
fighting in
Marlon
July.
Vera in July.
That
So-
card's so fucking stacked, bro.
Yeah, so I'm excited. It's going to be right here in our hometown, so we're going to be fucking
It's
checking
that
that out.
International Fight Week card.
International Fight Week, another great showcase for Sean, and a huge step up in talent.
Yeah.
That's I guess we'll see. We'll see what's up.
Yeah, for real. That's gonna be a fucking sick fight.
Yeah, I'm excited about that on a
Yeah.
sick card. Literally, that whole card. I can't think of a bad fight they put on there yet where I was blown away.
No,
And
they're
we're
all
probably
fucking
gonna get a couple
heaters.
more before it's said and done.
Who else
so-
we got on there? We got
That's gonna be
George
a fucking-
Masvidal, Askren. You got fucking
Mhm.
Holly Nunez. You got
Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes.
a
How sick
fucking-
is that fight?
that is such a good fight.
Oh,
Then you got fucking Jones and fucking Santos, and Santos is always game, bro. So you
Dude,
can't
Santos
sleep
is
on
game.
him.
We all expect Jones to win, but I mean, it's gonna. I don't think it's a walkover at any.
No.
You need to take Thiago Santos extremely seriously.
Then you got Ngannou versus JDS.
Ghana versus JDS. JDS, how they're talking about, I'm gonna knock him out in round 2.
Uh,
I don't think he wanna.
that's on that, right?
Yeah, I don't think he wants to fucking swing them.
There's another
Them
big fight
hammers.
on there too, which
Dude, that whole card is filled
card
with
is
big
fucking
fights, man.
stacked now, bro. And then you got O'Malley, Marlon Vera. That's a big fucking step up in competition for O'Malley, though. Holy shit. I'm worried to see how this layoff has affected him, because remember he had the injury that made him take a year off, and then that was his comeback fight,
Right.
and then he popped. So now he's taken 2 years off.
Well, you know,
He was supposed to fight last July, remember?
Yeah.
On the last international fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, Junior Dos Santos on there,
Oh, wait, no,
O'Malley on
October.
there. I was just thinking about that Masvidal Askren fight. You know, Masvidal is going to come out and try to do exactly what Robbie Lawler did. He's going to think that's what he's going to come out and try to do, that 3-piece in a soda on this motherfucker. And I think fucking Robbie Lawler hits way harder than George Masvidal. No disrespect to Masvidal, but Robbie Lawler is a whole different game. And Ben Askren weathered that storm, controversy or none. He weathered that storm, and I don't think it gets much worse than that. I think he's gonna fuck Masvidal up.
He's gonna fuck. Yeah, I think so too.
And I know Ben's your boy, so you're definitely gonna be on that train. But like Masvidal, I don't think that was a good idea for him to take that fight.
I don't think he had a choice.
Probably not. He didn't want to fight Leon Edwards because that's a step
Wouldn't do
in the
shit
wrong
for him.
direction. Yeah.
He even said it. He said, "I just want to get to the belt." So I took
Yeah.
the fight that's gonna get me to the belt.
So what happens here with Askren when Askren fucking beats his ass? I mean,
I'd like to see Usman and Askren after that.
I would too. I wonder if the UFC will do that.
Why wouldn't they?
I'm hoping they do. But also
That's a
on that
big
card,
fight.
we got Luke Rockhold making his debut at light
Oh
heavyweight
yeah, that's the other one
versus
too.
Jan Blachowicz.
Yep.
And that's interesting.
I bet you he calls John out after the fight if he is to win.
Yes, especially if it's convincing. If he barely gets out a victory, I don't think he's got much to stand on. But, you know, if he goes out there and smokes Jan,
Damn, Diego Sanchez, Michael Chiesa too. That's a good fucking fight.
I don't like Michael Chiesa. He just rubs me the wrong way. And I am fucking
I know what a
hoping
lot of it has to
Sanchez-
do with.
You know, yeah. Yup. It just does.
Yeah, I
That was
feel you.
just
He's a kind of a bitch, but whatever. He's probably gonna lose. Diego Sanchez is on a roll.
Diego Sanchez is on a roll. Yes. I like Diego by fucking mauling in that fight.
Dude, look at the fucking lineup here. That is nuts.
I know we got the card headlined by John Jones and Thiago Santos, and then the co-main is Amanda Nunes versus Holly Holm. Then we got
We
Ngannou,
got
JDS,
that Edmund
Blachowicz, Rockhold.
Shabazian guy.
Yep, Shabazian, who I'm got to begrudgingly start giving respect to. Like I've been clowning him because he's trained by fucking Edmund,
Yeah.
and I think Tarverdian's just a joke. But
Can't hate on him though. I just don't like his coach.
I don't like his coach. But hey, Ronda
tough.
succeeded despite Tarverdian too. So
Yeah.
this Shabazian dude seems to be legit.
Yeah.
Like, so and he's fighting Jack Marshman. Marshman's good, man.
He's tough.
He's a tough out. Like that'll tell us a bit of what's up.
We'll really be able to see where he's at now.
Yeah.
Because his first two fights were against some lower level guys, and he fucking smokes them. And then this one is this is a real solid guy who's got some serious experience. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And then the aforementioned Sanchez versus Chiesa, and then finally Masvidal versus Askren. And so we got maybe 3 to 4
And
more
then
fights.
probably
potentially
O'Malley
added.
Vera.
Yeah, O'Malley Vera, which is not on the list that we're looking at there.
Damn, that Askren Masvidal fight's probably gonna be on the prelims.
Yep.
How crazy is that?
That'll probably be good for them, actually. I hope it's the prelim headliner because think about it. That's going to be the ESPN headliner then.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
probably what it's gonna
I
be.
mean, that's like,
And I bet you I bet you it's gonna be the ESPN headliner, and then under that will be the O'Malley fight.
that shit carries a lot of weight these days.
Damn,
I
this
mean,
kid, the Shabazian dude, is he fighting on fucking pay-per-view?
I doubt it. I doubt that's the finalized lineup right there.
Maybe Masvidal Askren's probably the first one on pay-per-view then.
Either way, man, we should do.
And then they
everything we
do
can to be
O'Malley
right
as the
there
main
checking that
event.
Shit out. I'm so happy that's right here in Vegas, man.
Yeah, that shit is dope.
Fucking so looking forward to fight week. I hope they do some good events around it.
Yeah.
Like those have been hit or miss lately with since the takeover or the sale, whatever you want to call it.
It's 420.
Is it 420? It's 420 while we're recording right now, folks. So he's gonna hit that one. I'm gonna hit this one. Oh, yes. Happy 420. Strawberry cough working its magic on Paul. Oh, man. Did you do anything for 420 here in Las Vegas?
Nope.
Me neither.
I worked.
It doesn't carry the same way. Like, I used to make a big deal out of it back when weed was illegal in Colorado. And, like, shit would go down. Like, everybody go up to the college, up to CU, and smoke out on the fucking commons up there. And the cops would be right there where they couldn't do shit because there was, like, 5,000 people smoking weed. They ain't going to arrest us all. But then the weed's legalized. It's really not such a big deal. Although it's cool because all the dispensaries run specials out here.
Fuck.
So I did pick up some weed on special.
That's cool.
But, other than that, yeah, I didn't do shit either. I chilled at home.
Yeah. Same shit.
It's been a fucking pretty chill weekend with the weed smoking, though, man. We had good decent UFC fights. We had a decent Bellator. Boxing this weekend was so boring, we're not even going to talk about it.
But
We had that great fucking
you
Game
got
of
some shit
Thrones.
coming up. Yeah, the Game Down shit was
That
dope.
shit was dope. We got fucking good shit coming up. We'll go see Endgame this upcoming week.
I already saw it.
Did you?
Shit was dope.
Oh, man. I'm getting caught up with my kid. She hadn't seen Infinity War yet, so or Doctor Strange. So we watched Doctor Strange, and then we watched Infinity War yesterday, and then probably tonight we're gonna go catch Endgame.
It's dope.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's really
Did
good.
you know how much money that shit made? $1.2 billion in the first 3 days
Dude, it's
worldwide.
like really
Sick.
good. It's really good.
It's like it's been a long time since there's been like an event movie,
Yeah.
like this. Like
That
this.
3 hours goes by pretty fucking quick, too.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some edibles for that. Some edibles. Well, shit, man. I think that probably wraps up the show today.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank everybody for tuning in.
Yep.
We're going to be back next week. Of course, we had a couple weeks off due to just a lack of events really going on.
Yeah.
But we'll be back. talking about next week's event.
Yep.
And definitely about
got,
the boxing. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep. And then we got that Rose Namajunas card after that.
Yeah,
So
boy.
we got shit coming up.
My girl going to Brazil.
Yeah, shut up.
Oh no, making me nervous, man. Making me nervous.
But
All right. However you're listening to us, thank you very much. You can catch us on WBUZ 95 on Thursdays. It's 6 p.m. here in Vegas, 9 p.m. out in New York. It's Orange Radio app, radio.net. Find us on YouTube. You can find us on all the podcast outlets.
head over to SWATmma.com and go get that T-shirt right there.
Yep.
This is the old one, so you got to get
Old
that one.
This one's better. Colors are better. It's got some cool shit on the back, too. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Catch you next week.
Later.
Peace.